Um, so there have been lot of differences. As I said, Trump has been very restrictive with reference to his policies, and we can expect more of the same if he comes back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with reference to the border,
Border control, yes.
um, yeah, the border, building a border wall, that was big, Trump's big agenda, and he authorized about $5.8 billion dollars to build that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And the critics say that there is no purpose in building a physical wall and spending so much money. Other things need to be done in order to make the borders more secure. And building a wall
Right.
is not a practical solution because you can't build a wall. He wanted to build a wall across the entire border, which is not possible. So
Mm-hmm.
when Biden came, so basically Trump sanctioned a lot of money to do this and to build and construct the wall, and that seemed to gel well with his base because it was a very visible. Oh, I'm going to build a physical wall. Uh,
Physical wall.
it was something that is visible for people to see, and the other programs are not so visible. So this was an easier thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Biden is continuing to build the wall, but on a much, much smaller scale. He's only going to be building 20 miles of physical barriers across the US Mexico border where they think it's needed. And in with reference to other ways of trying to secure the border, he's doing other things, as I just mentioned. With
Right.
reference to ICE, so ICE is the enforcement wing of USCIS, of the Department of Homeland Security, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And with reference to ICE, Trump issued an executive order which established a new, more aggressive enforcement regime within the United States. So what he did is basically he expanded the categories of people that could be deported, and he kind of went after a lot of illegal. He tried to go after a lot of people who were illegal, not just
Mm-hmm.
people who were convicted of serious crimes, but many others as well. So it is impossible to deport all illegal people in the United States. uh, Simply impossible because there are millions of illegal immigrants in the US. So doing that doesn't make sense in my point of view. So when Biden came in, he rescinded that order. And right now, the way things stand is he's prioritizing the people that he wants to deport. The administration wants to deport. They deport people who have committed serious crimes and
Mm-hmm.
who are harmful to the U.S. society in general. So those are the people he is prioritizing to deport, and for the other people who are just illegal and have not committed any crime, they are not a priority anymore, especially if they are older. So he has certain priorities with reference to who to deport and who not to. With reference
Right.
to detention of pregnant women, Biden issued a directive um, called 11032, which outlined procedures on how to identify, monitor, track, and house pregnant detainees. And between 2017 and 2018, the number of detentions for pregnant women increased from 1,000 to 2,000, like more than doubled. So under
Mm-hmm.
Biden's administration, as it was even before, um, ICE should not detain, arrest, or take into custody individuals known to be pregnant or post-pregnant or nursing. So that's brought back, and if Trump comes, most probably pregnant women will be detained again. Um, Another important policy is the zero tolerance policy,
Mm-hmm.
which requires U.S. Attorney's Office along the Mexico border, U.S. Mexico border to criminally prosecute all illegal immigration cases referred to them by USCIS. Trump used this zero tolerance policy to separate migrant children from their parents at the border. So what Trump did is pretty much he made uh, violation of immigration laws into a criminal violation, whereby people could be arrested and jailed, etc. That was never immigration policy. It is never considered to be a crime in the sense of an actual crime. It was an immigration crime, not an actual crime. So you could not be actually put into regular jails. You can be put into detention facilities, which are not the same as where criminals are put, right? So
Right.
this tolerance policy went into also, their how they adjudicated USCIS cases
Mm-hmm.
with reference to benefits. Even if there was a small error or some small issue, they would deny the case. So Biden brought that, but rescinded that, pretty much that zero tolerance policy, and now it's a more common sense policy where benefits are given, uh, enforcement action is taken on a case by case basis.
Right.
Again, coming back to the family separation, this was something that was really Trump was criticized for this family separation policy, where accompanied. So basically, family separation is um, at the border. Migrant children at the border were treated as unaccompanied alien children, and they were placed into custody. Um, Even if they were traveling with their parents, they were separated, and they were placed into custody separately.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a different facility. So all the children were put together in a different facility behind bars. Really, it was like the pictures that we saw were horrendous. That they were put into cells. Really, even newborn babies, were separated from their parents. Right. So that is also not a common sense policy, because what are you going to do with all those children? Who are you going to take? Who's going to take care of them? So that
Right.
was. um, you know, finally he started it, and then he terminated it in June of 2018 after a lot of criticism that he faced. Um, Biden has now established a task force to reunification of those children, because a lot of children and parents have been separated, and they are not able to find each other because the parents don't know where the children were taken, and the parents have moved to different places. So even USCIS and those agencies are not able to reunite the children with their parents that easily. So they've established a task force to allow them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So um, expansion of the removal, expedited removal. So DHS is allowed to quickly deport migrants without even allowing them to present their case before an immigration judge. This was started by Trump, um, and that was rescinded really by Biden. Um,
Okay.
the other important thing is the public health emergency order, which is called Title 42. So
Mm-hmm.
under Trump's administration, anyone can be stopped at the border. In fact, people that were coming into the country legally also could be stopped based on health
Right.
grounds under the COVID regulations, and that was, of course, rescinded, and COVID was over after that, so it was rescinded by Biden.
Right.
Um, Also, extreme vetting, so looking into a series of background and security checks on refugee applicants that you know then resulted in the less number of refugees being able to enter into the country. It was so extreme that it was again nonsensical and didn't make it was not common sense driven. So that was terminated by Biden as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I'm just trying to go through my notes. Legal immigration. There's a big. We need to talk about that. Travel bans were constituted by the Trump administration. So even legally, people who had visas were not allowed into the country, as I was saying, for health reasons.
Yes.
And also, after that, people from Muslim countries were not allowed. From Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Sudan, Libya, and Somalia were not
Mm-hmm.
allowed into the country, period. The Biden administration, of course, ended that discriminatory policy.
Right.
DACA is protection from deportation of dreamers. That is, children who came here, did their high school here, and who now are perhaps adults, but became out of status for no reason, that nothing that they did. They're called DACA, and DACA has been a big issue even before Trump. But Trump completely stopped DACA. Then there was a lot of court cases that were filed under the Trump administration and the Biden administration. Pretty much now, as it goes, U.S. District Court, as of September 2023, has blocked DACA. So it's been bad under Trump. Biden tried to revive it, but he was not able to because the court stopped it. So that's the story with reference to DACA. With reference to expanded public charge vetting, this is again for legal immigration. So people who are filing for green card, a public charge is defined. A public charge is a person who is likely to become primarily dependent on the government for subsistence. So this is basically an economical thing. Anybody who filed for a green card, if you're filing an I-140 based or family-based petition, he expanded that whole public charge regulation. Even before that, there was a public charge regulation whereby if you are likely to become a burden on the government financially, then you won't get a green card. But he expanded the definition of it, and he made many people eligible to become a public charge. So he said that you should consider anyone to be a public charge basis on health, age, family status, assets, resources, educational skills, etc. So he expanded that, and Biden again reverted it back to pre-Trump era, which there was a public charge, but more in a common sense way. It was decided in a common sense way. If you had a sponsor that was agreed to take care of you financially while you're in the United States, or if you have a job, then you will not be considered to be a public charge.
Okay.
Also, during COVID time, there were many other changes to legal immigration. Trump cut legal immigration in the United States by 50%. Nobody actually knows this, but by roughly 50% via executive action, Trump suspended the issuance of employment-based permanent immigrant visas, as well as non-immigrant visas. So these are EB1, EB2, all the EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4 categories, H1L, J, F1s, everything was, and the dependents as well. Everything, all the visas were cut by 50%. By contrast, Biden has, in his last 4 years, has expanded legal immigration, again via executive action. And we can go into that further in our next question with reference to what was done. But Trump's travel ban was the reason why, and also his he basically his administration gave directions to USCIS to vet cases, to become more stricter with reference to issuing H-1B petition approvals. So all that had happened under him, and that's why I think legal immigration decreased by 50%. So those are some of the things that happened, or the contrast between the Trump and the Biden administration.
Hi, this is Rahul from Law Offices of Prashanthi Reddy. I want to welcome you all to our upcoming webinar, scheduled on the 18th of July 2024, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Visa Bulletin and its impact on green card and work visas. Use the link in the description to register now.
Don't forget to subscribe to our videos if you like what you see. Also, give us a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Thank you.